Okay, welcome to this morning yoga practice, our Tuesday morning. Let's settle into a comfortable seat and we'll tune into our breath. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. And as you come into your breath, feel into the breath entering your nostrils, moving through the nasal passages and then down your throat, down deep into your lung tissue. And as the breath descends, imagine that it is sinking into your body. It's sinking into the tissue of your body. It's sinking onto the diaphragm, which sinks into the abdomen. And as the diaphragm sinks down into the abdomen, allow the lowest circle of ribs to expand. And as you exhale, let the outer body relax over the inner body's energy. Let the outer body drape over the inner body. Breathe deep into the bowl of the pelvis. And allow the pelvis to sink down towards earth. In order to sink the pelvis, we need to release the muscles of the buttocks and the thighs and really allow for the muscle tissue to let go so the legs can relax and even slightly spread onto the ground. Now, as you allow the lower body to relax and spread and sink, breathe into the gate of life, the Ming Men acupuncture point at your low back, behind the navel, and let the low back expand behind you. One way we've worked with this energy in yoga before is we have invited that low back to expand away from the heart center. So you have diagonal energy moving through the torso as that point of the low back reaches away from the heart center. And then we learn to stretch ourselves open, stretch the spine open from the inside by directing the breath into the low back. And as the Ming Men point opens behind us, we release the tailbone earthward. We release the low back ribs backward and the tailbone earthward. All the while, we don't curl the head forward in our concentration of opening the low back. We stay broad across the collarbones, shoulder blades magnetized wide on the back body. And we breathe a lift to the heart center away from the rooting and grounding tailbone, Ming Men point, and low back ribs. Think of breathing the heart center forward more than up, and allow the circumference of the torso to expand. As the heart center moves forward, so can the low ribs, stretching the circle of the lowest ribs from front to back. And we start to feel how the breath can help us massage open the tight tissue in our torso. This work with the breath can help us to release the low back, which can then allow us to sink our energy into earth. One of the beauties of the Qigong practice that we did yesterday is we were playing with the contending forces of sinking and simultaneously being uplifted by Earth's energy. In martial arts, it's thought that you will have more power, more strength, if you can sink your energy onto Earth, because then you have a solid and grounded foundation from which to move. So we relax and we sink into the soil like the acorns and the pine cones sink into the forest floor. And as we sink, we know there's enough solid foundation here for a giant ponderosa pine or oak to grow up from the earth. And we feel that buoying energy move through us. Now, as we ground towards earth and allow our bodies to sink, I want us to turn to a line from the Bhagavad Gita. I've been reading to get ready for the upcoming yoga teacher training. And there's a line about how these practices can serve us. And right now, in this day and age, I think this part of the practice is very important. It says, can this, today, our ability to sink into our practice, help us to move, quote, beyond time, space, and circumstances to the place where the mind is tranquil and the ego disappears. Can this practice today help us to move beyond time, space, and circumstances to the place where the mind is tranquil and the ego disappears? As you allow yourself to sink and feel your breath expanding the torso, see if you can release everything but this present moment. Yourself sitting here inside the breathing practice. Can we be here with each finger, each thumb, each palm of our hands, each wrist? Can we be present in the practice today with both elbows and forearms, the upper arms, and each shoulder? Can our awareness settle into the whole circle of our collar? And as it does, can the energy in the collar sink earthward? Now, some of us may come up against resistance in the shoulders because often we tend to hunch the shoulders up towards the skull and curl it forward slightly to protect the heart. So, in these moments, with the awareness at the collar, see if you can relax the whole circumference of the collar open and down. This isn't a forced downward energy, it's a relaxed, releasing downward energy. So we aren't pulling the shoulders down. We're inviting them to release downward. And we may find this means releasing muscles in the upper back and along the spine. And in order to release the muscles in the back body, we may need to gently lift the front heart center. Inside the turtleneck of the neck, allow the skeleton, the spine, to lengthen as the muscles on the outer neck relax. The tissue at the base of the skull releases downward. The root of the tongue relaxes. The cheeks and the eyes and the temples release. Allow this upper body to relax onto the whole circle of the lowest ribs. And as that circle grows heavy, allow it to expand and feel for the diaphragm sinking into the buoying energy of the abdomen and low back. The pelvis to sink and release onto earth. And notice if the circumference of the torso has expanded to allow more breath in, more breath to sink deep into the lung tissue. And as we sink, can we float here beyond time, beyond the current circumstances of our lives? And in the practice of breathing, does the mind grow more tranquil? And can even the ego sink and release? Let's inhale our hands to our hearts. May we be fully present with ourselves each moment of this practice and allow ourselves to feel the tranquility that's always here and available to us. Namaste. Okay, let's come to standing. And let's begin in mountain pose. In fact, let's have a little wider stance with our feet outer hip distance wide. Lift up your toes and stretch them forward, the balls of your feet. Lift up the heels and stretch them backwards. Allow your feet to widen on the floor. And allow the energy to sink through your feet, your pelvis to sink steady onto the support of the feet, the knees soft. Feel for palate floating above heart, above pelvis. And let each of those points sink onto the buoyant energy inside your body and rest downward. Then allow the arms to float up into a gentle circle, allowing the elbows to settle. as if they were resting on a table. And press the backs of your hands away from your low back ribs. And press the backs of your hands away from the gate of life. Breathe three-dimensionally into your torso, the full circumference of the torso opening. Notice if there's any gripping in the buttocks, let it go. Tailbone and pubic bone both sinking into earth. The pelvis, a support for the lowest ring of ribs, and the descending diaphragm, and the ascending diaphragm. And even though the arms are lifted, see if the whole circle of the collar can release. And the head can rest onto the top of the spine like a basketball on the top of a finger. A fluid breath. Releasing tension from the body. Now inhale, let the arms open the circle 2/3 as you bend the knees, and exhale, close the circle. And inhale, open the circle, knees bend, body sinks towards earth, and exhale, root down as you lengthen the legs. Inhaling and exhaling. If it's comfortable, the knees bend as the arms open. We begin to warm up the quads, but we still concentrate on breathing into that Ming point, the gate of life on the low back. As the arms press outward and away, we release the low back, and we breathe into it. And we continue pulsing the body and the breath. And we do really try to expand the lower back and abdomen with the breath. Moving at your own breath pace. A deep, full breath into the low back body. Imagine rocking your kidneys in their fascial slings. And then lift your hands up, palms out, and let each index finger point to the opposite eyebrow. And press your hands away, again, sinking the knees, sinking the low back ribs, breathing into the gate of life, and exhaling up. So we inhale, release tailbone and pubic bone and pelvis. Let it stretch the low back. We inhale down and stretch open. We exhale up. And the breath moves through the whole landscape of the back body. And we feel for the back of the diaphragm opening, the fascia in the low back releasing, stretching. Really let the tailbone and pelvis sink away from the lowest ribs. And release your arms down and pause. Arms hanging in mountain pose. Feel for the whole body sinking onto earth. And then feel the support up through your feet, up under your knees, your pelvis, your heart center, your head. And step the feet wide. Turning the feet out, let the knees come out over the ankles. And again, allow the pelvis to sink down. Again, breathe into the low back body, bringing your arms up into a circle. Press the backs of your hands away from the low back. And release in. So we inhale, the arms open. And exhale in. We inhale, root the tailbone, expand the low back body. And exhale in. Inhaling And exhaling, we begin to warm up the legs, open the hips, and release our energy earthward, grounding energy for this Vata season. You can stay with this or bring your hands up into our cactus position and exhale, cat curl the spine. Bring the backs of the hands together. Breathe into the low back. And then exhale the movement, floating forward. Lift the heart center and breathe into the front heart. And exhale the movement, breathing in to that low back acupuncture point away as you release the tail. And follow your own breath, exhaling the movement, inhaling into the shape. And even here, begin to feel if you can work with that diagonal energy. As you inhale into the low back in the cat, can you also breathe into the front heart? The diagonal is now a little curved, but can we still find it from low back to heart center? And can we feel a fascial stretch internally in the body as we do this? And then when you come back to arms in cactus, lift the arms skyward, lift the heels and release the elbows, release the pelvis. Inhale, lift heels, lift hands. Exhale, let's fist down. Let's inhale, stretch the hands open on the up. Fist down and stretch open, and fist down, stretch open, fisting and stretching. Can you stay with the breath? And when you inhale, can you breathe low back away from heart center? And straighten the legs and step together, mountain. Fluid breath. Collars broad, shoulder blades strong on the back. Let's step the right foot forward, left foot back. Rock step. I'm having a hard time. Allow your legs to land in towards your Virabhadrasana one pose and slowly sink the knee forward, the hips earthward, and allow your spine to bow forward in a humble warrior. Thumbs come around the back, open across your collar, and draw the front leg hip crease down and back along the angle of the pelvis towards the back leg. From there, lift the low rib ring away from the tailbone that's rooting for the back heel and lift the base of the skull. Breathe into the back body. Fluid breath. See if you can slightly cat curl the spine, taking the tailbone earthward. This will activate your front abdominal core. Find length in the low back. And then release the arms earthward. Let them just hang. And relax the collar away from the ears. You can stay with that release and the arms can dangle, or inhale, float up into your Virabhadrasana one, lengthening the whole spine. And exhale, float forward, wings come out, palms down, humble warrior. Come into a gentle cat curl, breathe into the low back. And then flow yourselves back up on an inhale. Exhale the movement. Pause. Find the length of your spine, even a slight cat curl in the humble warrior. And then inhale, stretch up. We do come into a lumbar curve, but can we do that with some spaciousness in the back body today? So as you lift on the inhale, take vertebrae away from vertebrae in the back body. Still allowing energy to sink from the pelvis into the feet. And this time when you float up, pause. Let the arms sink open into a T, palms up. Take your thumbs back towards each other. Breathe into the front heart center. Breathe diagonally back towards the low back. And release. Let's step the feet together for a moment and pause in mountain pose. Find your mountain settling onto the open feet, releasing the whole circumference of the collar, relaxing the back body down. And let's take it to the other side. Rock step. Find a wide enough pose, front to back, that you feel good stability when you bend the knee and float forward into your humble warrior. Let's start with the hands on the pelvic rim, thumbs towards each other. And press the hips away towards the back foot with your hands. And as you do that, lift up into your warrior one. Lift the low rib ring away from the pelvis that's sinking earthward. Lift the heart center. Still breathe down towards your low back. Let there be a diagonal or an energy from low back up to heart center. And fold forward again. Let the hands go, palms down, thumbs out. Cat curl the spine slightly. Deep breath into the low back. As you're ready, exhale the movement, keeping the low back long into your Virabhadrasana 1. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, breathe into the cat curled lumbar spine. And continue to move. Now don't come down to where it feels like it's compressing your low back. Okay. Come down to where it feels comfortable, where you can breathe back into the tissue of the low back. And when you float back up into your Vera 1, really try to take the low back ribs away from the rooting tail. Wow, your legs look really grounded today, Karen G. Fluid breath. You too, Karen E. Fluid movement. Oh, I love how the collar's releasing away from your head, Susie. Fluid breath all the way through that circle. Very nice, everyone. These look beautiful. The next time you float up into your Virabhadrasana 1, pause. Where can you allow energy to sink into the support of earth? So we have this tendency to lift away, lift the shoulders, lift the ribs, lift skyward. Where can you relax that energy down and feel the support of earth buoying you up through the cells of your body? Let yourself relax onto earth's energy and let that energy lift you up. Fluid breath. Rely on the ground beneath you. And release. Stepping into mountain pose. Close the eyes on the front of the head and open the eyes on the back of the head. Feel the nose on the back of the head, your smile on the back of your head. And with this nose on the back of your head, begin to draw a circle. Really try to draw it from the nose on the back of your head. And let the circle get a little larger and a little larger. And today, as you circle, really pay attention to the back of the neck, where the neck meets the back of the skull. And then take your circles the other way. Fluid breath. And pause. Let's step our feet wide, turn the left foot out, take the right heel back, and settle into your Virabhadrasana 2. Let the back body sink down. Stay awake in the back body through this entire movement series as you bring the right arm up alongside the ear and bow the heart towards earth and lift the heart towards the heavens. In fact, let's lift the back of the heart towards the heavens and then bow the back of the heart towards earth. Feel it from your back body today. Fluid breath. Allow yourself to be in the back body's landscape and orient from the back body coming to your forearm. We stay in the back body. We can still look out the eyes on the back of the head. You may even be able to close the eyes on the front of the head. Practicing balance. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it. Feel into the nose on the back of your head. And as your heart, back of your heart lifts skyward, let the eyes on the back of your head gaze skyward. And then vice versa. And pause in the open. And rainbow the top arm over, lifting from the underside body. Allow the upper side body to drape, to release, to sink onto the tabletop of your rib cage, your arm bones, your pelvis. And then sinking the pelvis deep into the earth. Exhale, float up into your dancing warrior. Relax the collar. Let energy sink down through the muscles and skin towards the floor, into the wide open feet. Feel the support of earth beneath you. Notice if you've been able to move past space and time and circumstance into each of these poses, each breath. And straightening the front leg, allow yourself to come into your high trikonasana. Fluid breath. Let the top arm sink down towards the bottom hand, and then float the arm back open and let it sink down. Feel for how rooted your lower body stays as you work with movement in the upper body. One more time. Floating the palm down, floating the palm up, and lifting into your dancing triangle. Stretch the body, lift everything away, lift the navel away, lift the low ribs away, lift the shoulder girdle, lift it up towards your ears, lift the crown. Now let it all sink towards earth and feel the support of earth under you. Feel how as you sink, you're not using as much energy. Let yourself sink onto the support of your bones, the support of earth beneath you. And float back up, turning the left leg in, turn the right leg out. Fluid breath. Come into your Virabhadrasana 2. Shoulder girdle sinks. Release the collar. Let your consciousness stay at the neck and shoulders for a moment and see, can you release tension? Not work so hard. Relax the hands, relax the arms. Play with release in the pose. Three-dimensional breath. Mira and I both read this article in the New York Times today about the 102-year-old woman who's taught yoga until she was 100. Did you see that? It's awesome. Fluid breath. So we're in a good practice here. Float your right hand to your femur, left arm alongside your ears. Close your eyes if you can. Look out the eyes on the back of your head, just for a moment even. And then if you need to, open the eyes on the front of the head. If not, you can stay here and lift the back of your heart towards the heavens. And then bow the back of your heart towards earth. Orient from the back body today. You can keep the eyes on the front and the back of the head open. Some of you may come to your forearm. Fluid breath. Notice where you tend to stretch away from earth. And see if today you can allow more of a sinking in, just to play with possibility. Coming back up, rainbow the top arm over and relax it, drape it. Breathe, fluid breath into all the tissue of the body. Notice how the upper side can sink down onto the breath that can stretch it open. And on your next exhale, rooting from the pelvis down, float up, let the upper body move into dancing warrior. Relax into the pose. Let each finger relax, each elbow, each shoulder. Find a position where the neck can relax. And keeping yourself that relaxed, straighten the front leg, float into your high trikonasana. Do you need to lift away, or can you allow the spine to relax vertebrae, onto pelvis, onto feet? And release the top hand towards the bottom palm. And keeping the lower body strong and grounded, open the upper hand. And as you're ready, release it down. And inhale, float it up. And again, feel into how you can create stability for movement. And floating back up, lift up into your dancing triangle. Everybody lift each finger bone skyward, lift each hand bone, each forearm bone of the upper arm, lift the shoulder, lift through the rib cage. Now allow all of that to sink down onto your strong legs and the support of earth. Notice the difference energetically and release the lifted arm, turn the foot in, step together, mountain pose. Fluid breath right here, right now. Okay, so I would like us to come to a wall and try our Ardha Chandrasana pose with this idea of sinking. So you'll bring a block and let's try it at the wall first. And then those of you who want to try it in the middle of the room will do that too. Have your block so that it comes to the pinky toe side and we'll float up into the half moon pose. Now, this pose, even in its name, takes us into a spacious sky. But today, I want you to allow your body to sink into the support of earth in the pose. So once you get into the pose, supported by the wall behind you, allow the heart to open. Now, again, come into your back body, recognize the back side, and look out of the pose from the back side, the backs of the hands, the backs of the arms, the backs of the head and neck and sacrum. And if you can, float yourself away from the wall, rooting down into the standing leg. Let the upper hip rest onto the lower hip, onto the foot. And if you feel like you're wobbling, allow yourself to sink a little more. Let the shoulder girdle sink onto the supporting arm. Come back to breathing into the Min Ming point on the back body. Ming Min, fluid breath, gate of life. See if you can open the low back and bring your hand to your hip and float yourselves up. And let's take it to the other side. So today, part of the practice is trying to ground in each pose, even the light balance poses. So as you're ready, lifting it up on the other side, opening it wide. Maybe just the wall is there if you need it. And you ground down from even the top hip through the pelvis into the standing leg, from the top arm down into the rooted arm. This doesn't mean we compress the tissue inside the joints. It just means we allow the energy to sink earthward. We feel the support of earth buoying us back up, even the side body, even the lifted leg, even the head. Fluid breath. Can you take the tailbone away from the base of the skull and breathe into the low back? And as we bring our attention into different parts of the landscape, perhaps we're not so nervous about the balancing aspect. Perhaps we just settle into the pose on earth. Hand to the hip, front knee bends, we float up out of the pose. Now let's pause in mountain for a moment. Notice how the practice feels in your body today. And then as you're ready, let's take Ardha Chandrasana, either at the wall if you like that, or back on your mat. So remember, you want enough span from your hip crease to your armpit so that the shoulder is straight up over the wrist. As you lift up into your pose, settle the energy from the lifted hand through the shoulder girdle to the standing hand, from the upper hip down through to the femur bone. We don't lock the knee so we can still sink into the foot. And if you feel like you're too low, you could be on fingertips on the block. In fact, when people get real strength in this pose, they can float the hand off and not really have support under that arm and have all the energy sinking into the standing leg. Feel into your back body again. Wake it up. Look out the eyes on the back of your head. Feel through the back sacrum. Reach the tailbone away from the base of the skull. Bring the hand back to your hip. Bending the front knee, float up. Sinking onto the standing leg should help us really stabilize it so it doesn't wobble as much. Let's try the other side. The block moves up. Remember, it's off to the pinky toe side. You don't have to be in a straight line with the block in front of the foot. And you want to keep the toes pointing straight ahead. They're going to want to turn forward. So really start grounding from the hip down into the foot so that you can keep the foot stable as you float up into the pose. Finding the shoulders at the back body. We can use what we know about the core, integrating limbs in towards that center channel of the spine. But if we wake up the back landscape of the body, feeling the calves, the hamstrings, the buttocks, the low back, the shoulders, the back of the neck, knowing where we are in space helps us find balance. So we wake up to the whole of the physical form. We let it educate us as we sink onto earth in our half moon pose. Even the moon is held by gravity. Bring your hand to your hip and float back out. And pause in mountain pose. Fluid breath. Okay, let's place the block to the outside of our left foot and place just a third of the foot up the block so that we can come to stand on the block in Garudasana. So we worked on really finding that sinking energy. Now we're taking it in to work with balance. So become one of the migrating cranes, fluid breath. And every time your wings come down, sink, if you can, onto that standing leg. This is really good strengthening for the knee joint. So as you bend, feel that standing leg bending unless that hurts your knee. If it hurts your knee, don't do it. But if it doesn't hurt your knee, it's a great strengthening exercise. I trained with this coach in Alaska one year. I did the marathon for raising money for lymphoma and cancer prevention. And this wonderful high school coach worked with us. And this exercise, he said, was fundamental for strengthening knees. He didn't have us do the bird wings, but he had us do the knee bending. So we want to keep strong in the four corners of our feet, the three arches here. And then float your leg up and over to the block. Bend your standing knee and either hug the legs together or press them out into each other. Find what works best for you as you may lift the toe off. Bring the left hand over the right arm and come into your version of the Garuda Asana arms. Now, can your hips really sink onto the legs, onto the feet? Can the navel energy Can your gate of life sink down towards the tailbone? Your low ribs sink, even your shoulders. Your head rests on the spine. You're an ego resting on its perch. And then we release the wings and float up and land. Mountain pose. You can release that standing foot and relax into your breath. The martial artists can hold poses like Garudasana for over an hour. And it's mind boggling to me how we could relax the calf and leg that's working so much that it could stand there for an hour. So, on this next side, let's consider that. Let's inhale up. Make sure you have a good wide open foot and that you're feeling for the four corners of your feet, perhaps grounding the whole circumference of your heel, your big toe ball mound, your pinky toe ball mound. Feel the sole of the foot on the floor and let the energy of the hips, both the lifting and the standing hip, let that energy sink into the standing leg. Let the tailbone sink towards earth. The shoulders sink on the support of your body. And then as you're ready, inhale the lifting leg up and over, and bending the standing knee. Hug the legs together or press them into one another. You can do the arms first if you like, right arm on top, back of hand to back of hand, or cross the elbows, palm to palm. Fluid breath. Maybe the foot can lift off. Still, can you sink the pelvis? That sinking may help you open the low back. Let the tailbone sink away from the low ribs. Let the shoulders sink away from the head. Let all of you sink onto the support of your standing leg. And then ask yourself, how do I relax that standing leg? That is the question at the moment. How could I relax this so I could stand here for an hour? Okay, I just let go my standing hip a little bit. And release your arms, float up and land. Mountain pose. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Okay, let's come to the floor. We're going to come back up to standing in a few minutes, but let's come do some hip openers before our final standing balance poses. Lying down on the floor. Make sure your gaze is perpendicular to the floor. Let your arms open, palms up, shoulders broad, and exhale, float one leg to tabletop. Inhale, land the foot light as a feather. Exhale, other leg up and inhale it down. Now, as the legs move, allow your shoulders to sink into earth and the backs of your arms. Allow the front body to sink onto the back body. Neutral curves to the spine. Now float one leg up, pause, and on the next exhale, float the other up. Bring your hands to the front of the femurs and press your hands into the femurs as you pull the femurs towards your chest. Start at just 20% of effort, still relaxing at your collar and shoulders. And slowly increase the energy between palms and femurs. But make sure you're keeping a long spine inside of the work of the abdominal muscles. And make sure you're not flattening the lumbar curve into the floor. Maintain your neutral curves. And even as you press the hands up and the legs in, can you release the sacrum onto earth, the head, the shoulders, the low ribs? Let yourself still sink, even though there's an upward energy to this work. And float the knees into the chest, circle them wide apart and back together again. Let the femur bones sink into the hip joints. And hug the right knee in, lengthen the left leg out. Here we are at the Pilates series of 5, nodding nose towards mouth, almost lift from your hairline. Now there is an uplifting energy through the leg here. Allow the bent knee leg to sink towards the chest, and even the lengthened leg sink down into the pelvis, and switch and switch. Now, as you almost lift from the hairline, feel for the shoulders and arms release. They float kind of, but they're not having to work to lift up. They're just kind of floating from knee to knee. Maybe the head lifts to look towards the legs. And we do have a flatter lumbar curve here. And we do feel the center core now of the body. The movement comes out of that center core, which is connected most readily with earth. All the movement, in fact, comes from the stability of the back body. And come back in. Reach hands and feet for the sky. Take wrists away from ankles to your point of control. Feel for your neutral lumbar curve. Pause here. Let the arms and the legs sink back in towards their joints. Let the chin sink earthward and the hyoid bones sink into its neck crease. Circle the arms and hug the knees in. Reach out again and pause. See if you can relax the lifted limbs back into the body and hug the knees in one more time. Reach out and pause. Feel for the strength. Hug in to the bone with the glutes and come back in. Release one foot to the floor and the other. If you're using a pillow, take it out and lift the pelvis skyward. Bridge pose. Now root into the feet. Open the feet. Lower the pelvis and lift. Exhale down and inhale up. Again, orient yourself from the back body today. It's like we're feeling into a whole different reality. We're orienting ourselves from a different part of ourselves. We're living in the world a little differently. Really feel the back of the head on the floor, the arch of the cervical spine, back of the neck, the shoulders. Now lower the pelvis all the way down. Draw the left knee in towards the chest. If you can, point the left foot towards the sky or the knee. And pressing down into the arms, lift the pelvis again and lower the hips and lift and lower and lift. Feel across the crossbeam of your pelvis. Try to keep that crossbeam steady. Feel this pose from the hamstrings of the standing leg, from both buttocks, from the low back. Can you still take the tailbone long away from the low back ribs? Maintain a spaciousness in the low back. Now lift up and hold. Flex the foot, lower the heel, point the toe and lift. Flex and lower, point and lift. One more. Flex and lower, point and lift, and lower the pelvis to the floor. Step the left foot onto the floor, open it wide. And as you're ready, draw the knee or the toe up to point towards the sky. Broad shoulders, backs of the arms active, lift and lower. If you can, close the eyes on the front of your body and feel the pose moving from the back body. Really get to know the four corners of the feet, balanced in their work, the calf, the hamstring, the buttock, the low back, strong across both shoulders, down the backs of both arms. Feel the skull on the floor. Lift up, flex, and lower, point, and lift. Keep strong in the cross beam of the hips. And next time you come up, lower the pelvis. Release the foot, relax the arms. Nod tailbone towards earth, tailbone towards sky. Tune into your three-dimensional breath. Next time, tailbones towards sky, pause. Feel the low back compressing towards the mat and breathe into it. Massage the low back with your breath. The glutes are active. They're tilting the pelvis skyward. Keep the gaze perpendicular. Don't let the gaze go back over the head. If you use a pillow, you can bring it back in. And relax. Bring your right ankle up over your left knee. Let the right knee open. Flex the right foot and draw the legs in towards your chest. Rock the legs back and forth. Or circle the legs, feeling for an opening around the circumference of the moving hip. Noticing where you want to pause in the stretch, pausing and breathing into it. Allow your mind to settle into the stretching tissue and invite it to relax on the exhales. Shoulders broad, neck long out of the shoulder girdle. You can stay here, or if your shin is in towards your chest and you'd like to, wrap your left arm around the right ankle at the elbow and let the left foot come towards the floor. The right hand press up on the right knee, and you may be able to lengthen the left leg out. So you're doing a supine pigeon pose. Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Supta Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Upside down, one-legged king pigeon pose. Continue to breathe into opening the hip. Fluid breath. Make sure you're not sickling the foot. The foot is still flexed. And now, wherever you are, bring the right hand to the outer edge of the right foot and see if you can release up into king pigeon pose or happy baby, half happy baby. Reach the left leg long and release the right knee towards earth. Now again, let the body sink onto earth. Even the left pelvis wants to sink and broaden. You may be able to bring the left hand into the left groin or around the left rim of the pelvis and massage any tight tissue here, because our hip flexors can get really tight in this area of the outer hip through the groin. So just find tissue that may want a little more softening and massage it in the left hip. Three-dimensional breath. Let the back of the heart sink onto earth. The sacrum sink. The left heel sink. And draw both knees together. Feel the difference in your body side to side. Put both feet on the floor. Feel the difference in your body side to side. And bring the left ankle up over the right knee. Flex the left foot and draw the legs in if that's comfortable to you, or rest the right foot on a block. Begin to rock or circle the legs lightly, looking for a little pulsation in the fascial tissue around the joint. Remembering that this tissue, when it gets tight and stiff, can be dehydrated. So movement can help us rehydrate that tissue a little bit. Find the place where you want to pause in the stretch. Make sure when you exhale that that tissue can sink towards relaxation, and that your face is relaxing and your jaw and the root of your tongue, because the face is socially interactive muscles. If they relax, let the rest of the body know it's okay to do so. Fluid breath. Each exhale, we sink into the hug of gravity. In a lot of Anasora practices, the hips are seen as a seed pod that can be really tight and strong, but in the moist earth, it softens and it opens. Fluid breath. In the moist earth, the acorns are sinking in this fall so they can sprout and grow next spring. Now, if you'd like to wrap the right elbow around the left ankle, allow the right foot to come to the floor and perhaps the right leg lengthens. You may put the left forearm or the left hand into the left inner knee to press it away, to keep a balance across the shin. Pause anywhere it's right for you in this trajectory. Breathing into the hip, inviting the hip to open, to soften, to sink into the hug of gravity. In fact, feel through your whole body. Where can it sink? Relax. Wherever you are, bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Let the left foot open towards the sky and the left knee sink to the outside of the left armpit. Reaching through the right leg, let it also sink and begin to massage that line of the hip. Cross the outer edge of your hip down through the groin and into the quads at the front of the leg. Wherever you find tightness, you want to bring awareness to in that right hip. Still breathing into the left hip and relaxing it into earth. And release the left foot back to the floor. Step the right foot in. Feel both legs, both hips. Come into somatic walking, lifting one hip and then the other, and letting the hips rock back and forth across the body. The shoulders open. Fluid breath. Now stepping the feet a little wider. Allow the knees to fall off to the left and the arms to stretch overhead. And stretch the psoas pathway of the inner right leg all the way up through the pelvis and along the spine, up through the armpit into the right arm. On the inhale, stretch the body long along the earth like your ivy growing. And then exhale, allow yourself to sink into the hug of gravity. And do this in a pulsation, a spanda, inhaling the lengthening, exhaling the releasing. And notice if you've been able to be in your body beyond time and space, just here in this moment, floating in this pose with this breath, expanding consciousness in this physical form. Shakti and Shiva meet, consciousness and embodiment. Exhaling the knees back to center, take them to the other side. Reaching through the left knee and the left arm, lengthening, stretching. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Releasing the back of the navel towards earth. Deep breaths. Down into the low back, into the bowl of the pelvis, the sea of life. And exhale back to center. Walking in, just pause in constructive rest with your hands on your abdomen, breathing into the abdomen, and breathing into the low back. Allow both abdomen and low back to now sink towards the floor. Don't press them, just allow them to sink. Breathe expansively into the waistline. Visualize the hips opening from side to side with the breath. Sink into the hug of gravity. Okay, let's roll ourselves over and come back up to standing. And see how we did on the hip opening. You can bring your fingers to the wall or to the top of a chair seat if you like, and float the outer leg up into your hand. So the knee comes into your hand. Now let your back body rest against the floor it was just on, even the open arm, and take the knee out to the side. Oh, that's a good idea, Mira, to use a pole. Bring the knee out to the side. Fluid breath. See if you can lighten the hand on the wall or the pole. Let the energy sink into your standing leg as you open the other knee out to the side, shoulder blades strong on the back. Let the head sink over the heart, over the pelvis. And then from the rooted foot, grow the centered channel, like the center of ring of the tree up through the crown. And draw the knee back into center and step down. Okay, let's take it to the other side. Lift the other knee into your hand. Find your strong shoulder blades, the floor behind your back, and let yourself open the knee, sinking down into the standing leg. Can you stay strong and firm across the shoulder girdle and even across the back of the pelvis? So feel the back body. Let it be strong and stable for you. Lean back into the back body and sink your energy towards earth. Three-dimensional breath. And bring the knee back to center and step down. Okay, so you can stay with that, or you can bring your yoga strap in and bring it around the sole of the first foot. If you know you can reach your toe for Padangusthasana, then you can also use your toe. So you don't have to use the yoga strap if you don't need it. Okay. So we will again, if you need it, use the wall. And then we will draw the strap up to whatever height is good for you to lengthen the leg forward. Again, find the back body. Okay. Find the back body. And as you get into position, think of allowing the hips to sink onto the strength of the standing leg. That doesn't mean the lifted leg hip sinks lower than the standing leg hip, but it places its energy onto the standing leg hip to really root down into earth. You can stay here with the leg forward, or if you'd like to, open the leg out to the side. Still strong in your back body. Look out the eyes on the back of your head. Feel into the nose on the back of your head and ground down through the back body into the heel. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. And draw the leg back to center and release. And let's take it to the other side. So as you get into position, you can bend that knee to lift up and straighten the leg out. Fluid breath. Remember, your tailbone can be another route into earth, fluid breath. The collar releases, even the back of the collar. The base of the skull rests on the shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle rests on the rib cage. All of this rests onto the pelvis and the standing leg. If you'd like to open the lifted leg, do so. Really, those myofascial slings across the back help us to find strength to ground down into the heel. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Energy sinking into earth. And even in Vata season, we can become very grounded and centered. And draw back to center and release. Okay, let's let go of the strap. And let's come into a final balance pose. Let's come into Vriksasana. So standing strong on your open feet, use your support if you need one. But in this pose, I prefer people to try kickstand if balance is an issue. Hug the hips in towards midline. You can step onto your calf or come to your inner thigh. And as you're ready, find the arm position that's right for you, whether it's the weeping willow or the oak or the pine. Now, wherever you are, press the backs of your hands out away from your body and your spine. So your palms may turn down and the backs of your hands press out. And as they press out, breathe into the low back and take that low back point back, opening the gate to life. If you'd like to, let the arms come down into your circle. You may find it more easily here, pressing out with the backs of the hands, breathing into the point at your low back, releasing the tail and sinking into the hug of earth. And really pause here to find the sinking. Let go onto your standing leg. Feel how that can help create balance, the sinking, and bring the knee forward and step down. Mountain pose. Open the next foot wide on the mat, wide across the transverse arch, big toe to pinky toe. Now, as you're ready, come into kickstand, foot on calf, foot on inner thigh, and open your branches. Take them wherever you'd like to. And if you like the contending forces exercise, press the backs of the hands away. Release the navel back, the back of the navel, the back body navel back behind you. Breathe into the low back ribs. Look out the eyes on the back of your head. And allow yourself to sink into the hug of gravity. What happens if you let go the buttocks? Let go the belly. Can you sink more easily? And we don't let go so much that we're just hanging out in the joint, but we let go to find that release of our weight to help us find balance. We stop gripping upwards. And bring the knee forward and release. Pause now in mountain pose. And as much as possible, allow your energy to release and sink towards earth. And to feel the floor underneath your feet buoying you back up. Feel for that energy from earth moving up through the legs to the knees, to the hips, to the abdomen. Feel how, as the diaphragm releases down on the inhale, it meets with an uplifting energy from earth. It gently presses against that uplifting energy. And that energy holds the heart. And if the collar can let go, that energy can also hold the skull. Now, really look for places you might be still holding tension in the hands, the wrists or forearms, anywhere along the arms, the back of the neck or the jaw. Scan your whole body. Standing Shavasana. Keep looking and inviting release. For me, I have to spend a lot of times in my outer hip around my sacrum. I don't know if that's because of my scoliosis, but really look for where in your body you habitually hold tension and see if you can keep inviting it to let go. It may regrip. You may have to change where your head is in space a little bit to find the release, or your shoulders. Micro movements towards ease. Okay. Let's release from that and bring in our chair and our bolster to come into a waterfall, if that sounds comfortable to you today, or come into your Shavasana of choice. Please bring in a blanket if you need one, an eye pillow, a sweater, so that you can be warm. And let yourself come into your resting position. Allowing ourselves a whole practice of grounding during the beginning of Vata season can help us to feel more centered, to bring our thoughts out of the ceiling fan of the mind, back down towards earth. And hopefully, as we sink into our restorative pose to close practice, we sink into tranquil mind. But if it isn't tranquil, we don't chastise ourselves. Instead, we sink into the practice of watching the thoughts as if they were birds migrating through an open sky. And we watch the thoughts come and go. And we begin to pay more attention to the sky behind the thoughts. And feeling into its expansiveness. We can feel into the depth and expansion of the tranquility that holds the dis-ease. And we continue to rest onto earth and let ourselves be right here, right now, in this breath, unlimited by our ego, by time, and even by our thoughts. Gently bring energy back into fingers and toes. And as you begin to move, see if your energy can stay grounded, like water moving down a riverbed. And stretch and open to this autumn day. And slowly bring yourselves up to a comfortable seat. I invite you the rest of this week to look for times during the day when you can practice sinking, releasing tension, expanding into your connection with the earth. Let's inhale our hands to our hearts. Hopefully, this practice will bring you to a place beyond space and time and circumstances, to where the mind is tranquil and the ego disappears. Namaste. Thank you for your practice.